Hello, my name is Jason Kane, and I want to talk about a private message that I received today in regards to a WSO that I'm running that is selling a physical multimedia DVD. Now, as you know, a physical product of any sort in the WSO forums is rare, but there's a reason why I chose to create a multimedia DVD, and I'm going to explain it not only to the person that wrote me this PM, but also to you, because it's going to help you in your marketing. Because you know, there's a lot of people on the Warrior forum that are incestuous. In other words, they only sell, get rich quick schemes to other marketers that are selling get rich quick schemes. They aren't in any other niche other than how to make money online or how to make money via internet marketing. But there's a whole world out there of niches and markets, and for those of you that are into that, into those other markets, I would like to explain things to you and kind of show you what my thinking is. And of course, the people that are in the incestuous, make money online niche, you're going to learn something different. The old school way of kind of doing things. So let's start off with this private message. Hey, I have a question. People are used to instant gratification. It's really rare to see people have to wait for shipped products nowadays. Are you saying that this is better than having a download area with all the info online? What about people who don't want to wait for shipment? Thanks. And that's from Ben Affleck, the director of Argo, of course, right? For those of you that don't get it, obviously I want this person to remain anonymous. I'm going to get some stupid message saying, dude, are you serious? That was from Ben Affleck. So let's get on to answering this person's question. Okay, so this is the reason why I choose to sell physical DVDs as a lead-in product. Okay, number one, you attract better customers. Now, that's important to me because this is a lifestyle business for me. I run my business around my lifestyle, not my lifestyle around my business. I've done that before in my life. When I was younger, I was in the military. After that, I was in police work. And in both of those jobs, they tell you when you can have a vacation. You don't get to choose. Well, after all of that, I'm done with it. It's about me now. I live up in British Columbia, Canada, and I am a woodsman. I love being in the outdoors, and this business, as long as I have a phone line, a fax machine, and a FedEx driver, I can do this business anywhere, anytime, and that's what this is about. So the benefits of having DVDs is, like I said, I'm able to design the life and the business and the customers I want. It eliminates a lot of customer service issues. Technical issues, those stupid emails that you get, and they're not really stupid because the customers usually having real problems. I can't access the web page. And it's usually like a browser issue because now you have to design for Internet Explorer, you got to design for Firefox, you need to design for Chrome. Safari, all these different browsers, and they all cause different issues, and people don't have certain plugins, and it is a freaking nightmare when, especially when my customer service people are from the Philippines. I used to live in the Philippines for 2 years, so I tend to use a lot of Filipino outsourcers because I know the quality of the work, and I'm able to communicate to them in their language. And I understand what they're going through. So when you're dealing with customer service, from my customer standpoint, I don't want them to have all these stinking issues. It's much easier to just give them a DVD and have it either have them pop it into their computer or pop it into their DVD player, or pop the CD into their radio in their car. I try and make it as simple as possible because it makes my life simple. It makes the lifestyle that I want easy. Okay. Another thing, do you want a lot of refunds? Because if you deliver downloadable products to people that are looking for instant gratification, you're going to end up with a lot of buyer's remorse. Okay. When people are looking for the quick answer, they don't want to put the work into it, and they're like, oh, you're satisfying lazy people. That's basically what it is, and you see that in the WSO forums. I mean, read the comments that people leave. They have a dime sale, which, oh, good God, selling $5 products, $10 products. I feel for you, but people will buy a $5 product and they'll write this scathing review of how shitty the product is and how it isn't worth $5. And I want my refund, and I want it now because my baby's out of pablum, and I need to go to the store. And if you don't give me back my $5, I'm not going to be able to feed my baby, and my baby's going to die, and then I'm going to sue you. You end up with all these stupid, dramatic emails from, these tire kicking freebie seekers, and it just, it's not worth the hassle. It absolutely isn't. You end up with way less refunds when you're delivering physical products, especially high-priced products. The higher priced product that you deliver, the less freaking refunds you're dealing with. You're dealing with a better customer. Okay, you want to get rid of those freebie seekers, the tire kickers, the people that buy a product, download it and then return it. I don't like it. You're the one that's choosing what customers you want. You're the one that's choosing that. So eliminate it. And physical products are the way to do it. That's why I use a physical DVD as a lead-in product. You get rid of so many of the stinking tire kickers. Okay, I know that was a rant. Okay, so when you have a downloadable product, you have no barrier to refunds. Now, what type of barrier am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about both physical. Okay, they don't have to do anything to get the refund. Okay, and mentally, the thought process that goes on in their head is like, well, it didn't cost them anything to make this for me. If it's a downloadable product, right? It's just data. It's just ones and zeros. So there's no mental barrier to refunds. There's no physical barrier to refunds. Hey, when you've got a physical product, a DVD, if they want to return it, what do they got to do? Well, they've got to wrap it back up and send it back in. And, it tends to have more worth to them then, So, that eliminates a hell of a lot of freebie seekers, even when it's a cheap DVD. And there is a reason to sell some lead-in products extremely cheap. And what I mean by extremely cheap is like $27. That, to me, that's extremely cheap. You guys would think, oh, it's a dime sale. Sell it to them for 10 cents. Sell it to them for $1. No. There's no way. How the hell can you make any money off of that? That's just a nightmare. Side notes. Refunds are a cost of doing business. I see a lot of people. There was a post in the forum today or yesterday on the 26th of February. Someone was saying, should I make them send me a letter before I give them a refund? No, just give them their freaking money back. And another thing to do when you when you give somebody their money back is process the refunds right away. Okay, you don't want to get in trouble with the FTC, Federal Trade Commission or whatever if you're living in the U.S. Or the Better Business Bureau. Just give them their freaking money back and wipe that person, out of your life. The best thing to do is develop a tire kicker list. And a tire kicker list is a list of people that you'll never freaking sell to again. And then also scrub them from your marketing. My marketing is physical marketing, direct mail marketing. You know, my customers get letters in the mail, they get DVDs in the mail, they get, you know, all sorts of crap in the mail to move them along, you know, through my back end. Well, I don't want to be sending tire kickers, you know, all this expensive direct mail. You know, I don't want to be sending them free DVDs and stuff. You know, so scrub those buggers from your list, and you know, share your tire kicker list with other marketers. You know, I wish someone had an actual piece of software that, you know, did this. I'd be on that like white on rice, right? So another thing too, if you sell shit, you deserve refunds and crummy reviews. And there's quite a few WSOs out there that are absolute BS. I actually bought one today, and I don't buy WSOs. I've bought one WSO, and that was today. And it was because it kind of interested me a little bit, and it was for $5. Okay, yeah, that's right. I purchased one of those $5 WSOs, and it didn't impress me. So, but I have it. You know, I'm not refunding the thing. You know, I think he tried his best. He just wasn't capable of it. But if you sell shit, you deserve to get refunds. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay. The second point that we're going to make on why a physical DVD as a lead-in product is pretty easy to understand, all right? You're able to differentiate yourself, okay? What is every other marketer doing in your niche? You know, does your Me Too marketing get lost? Now, we're going to talk specifically about the niche that many of you people on the Warrior Forum are in. And you're in the make money online, the get rich quick, you know, the become an internet marketing guru like me niche, you know. And, you know, why you focus on that niche, I mean, it just, I don't get it. Because if you think you're going to out-market Russell Brunson, if you're going to out-market, you know, Keith Baxter, if you're going to out-market John Reese, you know, or Frank Kern, you know, you're high. There you don't have a hope in hell of being able to outmarket those guys. Is it a large niche? Yes, but it's incestuous. You would do much better to find a niche outside of internet marketing, and with just the few skills that you have, you would be able to dominate so many other things. You know, it's just, it's absolutely amazing. I have helped, you know, other people outside of internet marketing, and now they totally dominate their specific industries. Like I help other companies dominate niches, and you know, I'm going to tell you one of the niches that I'm actually in one of the points further on. But let me tell you, man, there's a hell of a lot of money to be made, and a perfect example, because this is out there, you know, and common knowledge. You know, long ago, Frank Kern, after he got hit by the Federal Trade Commission, he decided to, you know, make a point that he could make money in any niche. So he chose dog training, and he wrote a little dog training ebook and had Google AdWords going to it. He turned it into, you know, a multi-million-dollar website. Real simple, real easy, totally dominated the niche for dog training, and then turned around and flipped the site when he wasn't making any money after the first Google slap. Okay, so, you know, you can do the exact same thing. You know, if you're, you know, creating all this content, you know, for a WSO to sell to this niche, you're high. Okay, you're absolutely stoned. So that's it. I'm going to get off my soapbox now, and we're going to go on to point number 3. Okay, why physical DVDs is a lead-in product? Point number 3, it builds anticipation. Okay, the private message I received said, well, people love instant gratification. Well, there's people that order off of eBay and Amazon all the time, all day long. Okay, and everybody loves Christmas Day. Why do they love Christmas Day? It's because of the anticipation that is built up to that.
Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la.
'Tis the season to be jolly.
Is that next? Doesn't rhyme with chorus.
That's the thing about mail order. People love to receive presents. They love to wait. They're searching the mailbox every single day. And as a matter of fact, the person that purchased, or excuse me, the person that sent me this private message requested express shipping so that she could get her DVD in a very expedited manner. Okay, so that shows that it's building anticipation already. I mean, she's going to be hanging out in front of that mailbox waiting for that postman to walk up with that multimedia DVD. That just it goes to show. And eBay and Amazon are the two biggest websites, and they don't have Amazon has downloadable products now, but and eBay used to sell downloadable products, but not anymore. Both of them are squarely in, the physical product realm, and they do freaking millions upon millions of dollars each and every day. So, when people aren't able to be rewarded instantly, it builds that anticipation, and it creates more desire for your product, far more desire for your product. So let's go on to point number 4. Okay, so why physical DVDs as a lead-in product? Well, sometimes, your market demographics and psychographics determine, what sort of products you're going to. As a matter of fact, your market demographics and psychographics should always determine what sort of product you're going to serve up. Market first, product second. Okay, or actually, market first, marketing second, and product third is really what it is. But let me explain, really what I'm talking about. Okay, for those that don't know me, or haven't been involved in internet marketing for very long, you probably don't know who the frick I am, and that's cool. But one of my niches is the survivalist prepper niche. Okay, and I've been involved in this niche since before Y2K. Remember Y2K? That's right. That's how I got started in blogging. I created a blog to sell survival products. Now, most people don't realize that the survivalist and prepper niche, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Okay, we're talking over $30 billion per year. Just one little sliver of the prepper niche is $30 billion. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you what part that is, because it has many parts to it. Okay, to explain this niche, and I'm going to explain it to you because, first of all, I could outmarket you in any way I wanted to. So if you try and come into this niche and try and bump me off, you're not going to be able to do it, for one thing. But there's money to be made in it, and I have no problem with someone coming into this niche and selling products. Okay, because we might be able to do a joint venture and make each other money. But think about survivalists. You've probably watched the show Doomsday Preppers. Well, what are those? And it's there's a lot of ding dings on that show, but and it gives me a great insight into the types of customers that I have. But there's a newbie part to that niche. And what do we know about newbies in internet marketing? Well, newbies in internet marketing need a lot of hand holding. Okay, you can sell real basic products that are easy to create to them. Okay, so the survivalist niche they have a newbie portion of that. There's people that are, these guys, they buy retreat homes. They buy second and third homes. Okay, they buy bomb shelters. Okay, they buy firearms. Okay, I mean, I'm not talking just one firearm. They're buying dozens of firearms. They're buying food. Okay, and they're not talking like a week's worth of food. These people are buying years and years of worth of food. Okay, freeze-dried food, shelf-stable food. These people are buying animals. Okay, because they want to be sustainable. Okay, they're buying seeds, garden tractors, vehicles. That's right, because they want bug out vehicles. Okay, special vehicles, four-wheelers. They're buying ammunition, and we're talking thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition. They're buying water purifiers. They're buying solar heating. They're buying solar energy. They're buying wood gas generators. They're buying hydroelectricity setups. They're buying wind turbine setups. They're buying remote properties. They're buying boats. I mean, it's a huge, niche. Okay. Now, what's special about this niche? Well, I've done all of the psychographics on it. This market, they're not sophisticated. They're simple, the simple old-fashioned methods work best. They respond to direct mail. They respond to phone calls. Sometimes they're a little suspicious when you start calling them up, but they respond to direct mail. Okay, they're technically illiterate. A lot of them are they're either simple folk. Okay, and what I mean by simple folk, they're middle class, blue collar workers, or they're upper middle class, business owners. They don't have a lot of time. They have other people that do the technical crap for them. So digital downloads are just not common within the niche. It's complicated to them. They don't know how to operate a browser. They don't know how to install a plugin. Okay. Also, digital says cheap to them, and like I said, they're suspicious. Trying to get them to fill out a web form, like if you just ask them what's your name and your email address, you're going to get a fake name and you're going to get a fake email address, and it ain't going to do them any good, and it ain't going to do me any good. But if I'm able to sell them a simple DVD, a cheap DVD, well then what happens when they're going to give me their credit card information, right? These people also have lots of disposable income, and I mean big time disposable income. So they don't think twice about spending $27 on a DVD, okay? They just don't think about it. So it's really important to know your market's demographics, what they can afford, where they live, what their social economic class is, and what their psychographics are. What are they thinking? What are these people thinking before they make a purchase? What are they wanting? You need to know this, and certain niches prefer physical products over digital products. A digital product just won't work for them, and so that's why I choose to sell physical DVDs as a lead-in product. Now, I do have some firewalled content here, and what I mean by firewalled content is there's two other reasons. The two most important reasons why I sell physical DVDs as a lead-in product. And if you want to know those two other important reasons, you're going to need to purchase my DVD in order to find out what it is. And if you think those other last four were good reasons, These other two are going to blow your pants off. And they're the big, light bulb type reasons why I choose physical DVDs. And you're going to be like, oh, that's why. That makes so much sense. And you're going to start seeing people selling DVDs in the WSO forum, I guarantee you. So, anyways, thanks for watching this video. I hope I've helped you out with what I did share. And I also hope that you purchase this DVD. It's a WSO special, and if you don't get it now, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass because the price is going to go back up to what it was before. Save over 50% and get special content that's only available to Warriors. That's it. It's not going to anyone else. And after those DVDs are gone, you're shit out of luck. All right, have a good day. Aloha.